Atlanta continues to own the offensive glass here in the fourth quarter. Great board, just could not convert it.
Was pushed under the hoop just enough to not have a great angle. To OT we go.
Atlanta continues to...
Oh, to OT we go, to OT we go, to OT we go. You've got to be kidding me. What a game on Sunday. You got to be kidding me. Unbelievable. Monday edition of On Cue. Rich Quiñones here. It's a Man Up Monday. Lunes, Mentiroso, Locutor de Radio Monday, which means if you had any type of goofy proclamation, you have to. You got to man up. I apologize for firing off a little late. But first and foremost, everyone had a wonderful weekend. You guys are locked in. You guys are the best. We had unbelievable, by the way. We had an unbelievable last week on the air with the content, the engagement. Keep it going. Keep it rolling. Let's go. Let's have a little fun. So, Angel Reese, Caitlin Nude, right? Listen, this is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion to start the show off on this Monday. But I actually believe Angel Reese can be a damn good player in this league if she just friggin' figured out a way to work on her offensive game in the offseason. Yeah, did she choke? Did she miss the bunny? 100%. Was that a nice win by Indiana yesterday? Overtime? 100%. Now, did the game itself change your mind about this team going forward, winning on the road, hostile environment, and then the MVP conversation? But what was so funny about yesterday was not only does... And I think when you guys were tuning in yesterday for the NFL show, I gave you the numbers. I said Reese would have 6 points and 17 rebounds. And I think I said Clark goes for 25 and 12. Well, again, I was a tad off, right? I was a very tad off. But, oh, my goodness. I mean, that was a crazy game yesterday, was it not? You had all the drama. You had the missed layups. You had the missed bunnies. You had horrible refereeing. How about friggin' halftime yesterday? How about halftime yesterday friggin' glazing over Angel Reese and once again ignoring the one effort of number 22, who is absolutely locked in. And I know I shouldn't say it, and I know you guys are going to get mad at me, and you're going to say, Q, don't do it on a friggin' Monday, but she's making the MVP conversation very interesting. She's making the MVP conversation, the debate, the hot topic. It's getting a little dicey right now. It really is. DB chimes in, great chat for now. Michael chimes in, incoming. We don't know. Listen, I can tell you this right now. Please somebody tell me. Tell me. This is what happens now. Caitlin Clark has had a nice little run of games. And we don't hear anything. But you know what? It's not even about the trolls today on a Monday. It's not even about the haters today. I even gave you an unpopular take, an unpopular opinion. Angel Reese choked, but you know what? If she worked on her friggin' offensive game, she might be a player in this league. But oh my goodness, Caitlin Clark one more time. Again yesterday. Unbelievable effort. And this is what we talked about a little bit. We talked about production, what makes a good team turn into a very good team, which could potentially be a great team at the right time, is players starting to buy in. Whatever level. I don't care if it's high school. I don't care if it's college. I don't care if it's JUCO. I don't care if it's AAU. Whatever friggin' level. And what did you get yesterday? Yeah, Tippy Timpson. Tippy Timpson last night. What did she do? She put on a hell of a show. She put on an absolute hell of a show last night for Indiana. So you're getting players that are stepping up in weight and they're contributing. Timpson with 20, 9 to 13. Boston all of a sudden, a nice double-double. Even though there were a couple times, a couple little bunnies missed. I don't care about the 6 of 16. I get it. She's a sieve at times. You're getting nothing from Lexi. That's a waste of a contract. You go to the bench. I don't know what's going on with Billings. You know, Cunningham comes in for a spell. Harris doesn't have the type of game that she did. The bench only contributes 13 points as opposed to 25 the other night. But again, it was the big two. It was Clark with 26. And oh, by the way, Mitchell, who friggin' had to figure out a way to get to 20 last night, right? She had to figure out a way to get to 20 points. Tina, how are you? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How embarrassing was it for ES? Michael chimes in, who still continued to push how good Angel played yesterday. I mean, are you kidding me? It's the same. DB says it perfectly. It's the same old friggin' storyline. They're glazing over Angel Reese. It's like enough is enough, man. We get it. It just proves my point even more. The numbers are going up exponentially, what she is doing. Speaking of Caitlin Clark. I counted 8 ridiculously piss-poor calls that went for Atlanta. I saw a bunch of fouls that were ignored. I saw 2 hits from the friggin' face. I mean, and that, by the way, what the hell are we doing sitting there calling that not even a love tap, tippy, with your little shins rubbing up against each other, friggin' foul on the 3-point attempt late? Are you kidding me with this nonsense? With this friggin' league? What a friggin' joke. It is the same, DB said it, it is the same old storyline. I feel bad for Angel. The media has set her up for failure. I don't think she's going to handle it well. Listen, I'm actually not even going the contrarian route. I'm actually being genuine here. I don't think she's garbage. I don't think she's trash. I don't. I really don't. There's something to be said about a player that works hard under the boards like that. She runs the floor. She's a physical player. I'm actually, it's easy today. Yeah, she choked. She missed a layup. She missed a bunny. I mean, listen, if Caitlin Clark in overtime can't get it into Mitchell and Wilson gets a paw on it, or late in the game, I should say, that constitutes a choke. It does. And Caitlin Clark got destroyed for it. Angel Reese, again, is going to get destroyed today. And I showed you that because it shows you she needs to work on her offensive game. If she really wants to be taken serious as a legit basketball player, then you have to learn to finish around the rim. 5 of 16 is unacceptable, and half the time she's getting second and third chance looks and opportunities with the rebounds. But I did not need yesterday during halftime to just constantly glaze over Angel Reese when Caitlin Clark was basically keeping him in this game. And then you get Steffi White. What is she doing in the fourth quarter? You're chasing friggin' points, and you have Caitlin Clark sit. You know, for everyone that sits there and says Steffi White is a good head coach, she stinks. Fun game. Wish CC teammates would just make those open shots near the rim. Yes. Again, I said 25 and 12, correct. Should just pass to herself from the backboard to get the me assist. I mean, that's the Russell Westbrook way, right? Angel admitted to Holly Rowe at halftime she played. Yes, yeah. She got caught with the hot mic, did she not? She literally was saying she was playing poor, but yet they were still sitting there. What is Monica McNutt watching? Is she watching the same sport that we are? She talks out of her, you know what? Oh, the smile was classic. That was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. I can't believe she missed that bunny. What's going on, Mark? It's what we've been seeing. Nothing new there. Maybe it's a coach thing. You got to finish around the rim. The drive-by smile and wave by Clark was priceless. CC's MVP. JS, I posted it up there. Does your perception now, the run that this kid is on, it's remarkable. And oh, by the way, I got a nice comment on X. Someone said, Rich, you called it. Every time Caitlin Clark has a logo 3, Mitchell's got to come back the next possession and shoot the friggin' football. Anyone else notice that? Anyone else notice that? No, yesterday, that was a good game. That was an enjoyable game to watch because it was back and forth. It was absolutely back and forth. I enjoyed it. I did. And it shows you that if this team, they just need to clean up their friggin' defense. They have to clean up their defense. If they can clean up their defense, they're going to be okay. There's talent on this team. I don't know how deep they're going to go, But there's talent on this team. Yes, needs to work on her fundamentals. Correct. She does. She should be in dirty movies as much as she... come on, Jeff. Come on. Come on. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Come on. She missed a wide open bunny. She missed a layup. Again, it happened. If she works on her game, offensively and understands, because she knows positioning, but a lot of times you just got to go up strong with the ball. And even without an offensive game, she still is averaging a double-double. Like, I'm not going to, what on Angel Reese today. It's low-bearing fruit. It's easy. She missed a bunny. She joked late. She could have won the game. Maybe now, it would have served a purpose, obviously, because that was a big game that they needed. But the narrative, the perception, maybe it changes a little bit. Maybe she gets another one on Caitlin Clark. It's all about the playoffs. It's all about the run. But their defense, I don't know. I still don't trust this team's defense. I don't. I can't stand the spacing on the floor at times. I don't. And that speaks to head coaching. It does. It speaks to head coaching because this coach stinks. She does. You know what? You can work on that. You got to put the time in, JS. You got to put the time in the gym. You have to. You have to put the time in. She's tall, she's lanky, she's strong. She knows where the ball is coming from off the glass, off the boards. I get it. We mock her, we joke with her, she throws it all over the place. She's never going to have a handle. You get her in the low block. If she's a little more decisive and gets stronger and decisive around the rim and really perfects her craft, she can be a very good player. And I'm being 100% serious. It's very easy to sit here and trash these players. It is. It really is. CC, MVP, whether they crown her or not, I think Clark is averaging like 26 over the last 11. I'm going to pull up the numbers in a second. I'm going to pull them up. The league woke up this morning, saw KK stats, and thought, uh-oh, how will it... Listen, it is crazy when, again, you pull up the numbers. You pull up the numbers, and I'm going to pull them up in a second, but they're staggering. Her numbers are staggering, and it's not helping that, again, ESPN's not going to give her that type of shine. And with all due respect to the broadcast yesterday, let's not stick Angel Reese in the Hall of Fame either, saying she'll go down as one of the all-time great rebounders. What are we looking at here? Offensively, she needs to work on her game. She does. And maybe it's never going to come. But if you can get a couple of those bunnies, you're not... Listen, she should not be shooting three-point shots. That's not her game. Keep her hiney right around the rim on the low block, period. But going back to Clark's numbers yesterday, if you look at this game, and obviously Boston had the double-double, the shooting percentage was really not there. 6 of 16, 9 of 22, 9 of 20. Mitchell got her hand in it. The problem I have with this team and the coaching is, again, these defensive laps. Dumb situations, man. You allow Landon to get back in the game, and you got to knock down your three throws. And the problem is there's no adjustments when you talk about those over-the-top passes to the weak side. So we look at, again, a player that you're counting on, and that's Billings. She gave you nothing yesterday. Lexi gives you nothing. So this is why they might have to rely a little more on some of the role players here and there. AB with a big A. Should have not allowed AR to box her out on several rebounds. Yes. Yes. It's positioning. Always. It's always positioning. Players won MVP doing less. How's CC not a number one MVP candidate when being the only player in WNBA history to be top 5 in scoring and assists, most generated points? They can't deny the stats. You know, Anth, it's a great point, but this is where we're at. This is where we're at. They're not going to deny. The stats don't lie. The stats do not lie. They just don't. We can, I mean, it's just like I said, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, you go into the fourth quarter, you're down 8, and then all of a sudden she gets the extended break between the quarters. Like, I don't understand the basketball logic by this head coach. You don't rest her to start the fourth quarter. You're chasing the game with like 10, 11 minutes left. 10 minutes left, 9 minutes left. You cannot sit your best offensive creator. You can't. But the numbers she is putting up are staggering. They really are. They don't bench Lexi for Harris. Every time Harris plays Caitlin, they take the ball out of Caitlin's hands. She's got to be more selfish, and she's got to bark for the basketball. She has to. She has to. Ironically, AB looks like AR around the rim at times. No touch or feel. No. Some of the bunnies were ridiculous. Generate a points a joke stat. Nah, it's not. Again, listen. We're not falling for it today, Paul, Coach. We're not. AR says she played like doo-doo. It's her own doing. She played horrible. Donnie says White is a horrible coach. I've been saying it for how long now? And I get hammered from the Steffi White. She's a horrible head coach. She's got no feel for the game. She's got no feel. CC was on fire, but Gray had 34 points in ESPN say anything. They kept talking about Gray. She was phenomenal, don't get me wrong. And Mitchell, we can sit there and we can look at Mitchell and nitpick, but again, her legs were tired because she's out there trying to defend the best player on the floor. She's not going to be able to have 25 every single night. You're going to have an off night. You are literally going to have an off night. It's just how it is in any league. So now you've got to figure out a way to get the role players and Bob or other players to step up. They always deflecting the narrative. It's just, I think we all need to accept it, whether you're a fan of her game or not. The reality is this. You are 100% correct. It doesn't matter what she does. It's constantly glossed over. And at this point, you've got what? A handful of games left. If she goes down the rabbit hole of 25, 10, and 4, she's got to be in serious consideration. But as we talked about last week, they'll never give it to her. Ever. She is good. It's like 25 and 10, book it. Book it. If she would have had another double-double yesterday, it would have been her 21st career game with 20 and 10, which is the most in WNBA history. She is the facilitator. I'm telling you, the more you watch, the more you have to sit back and appreciate her game for what it is. And then the more you realize that this media, it's contrived dribble coming out of their friggin' mouths. It is. It's absolutely contrived dribble. It's horrible. She should be. She should be. If she was really interested, if she wanted to be taken serious as a basketball player, work on your craft in the offseason. You have to. You have to work on your craft in the offseason. I believe there's something to be said about that. I believe there's something to be said about that. I believe that Mitchell, again, the difference is Mitchell is the more physical player, but Mitchell still sitting on 18, got to chuck it up, got to get that 20. And she had some big buckets as well. But remember, too, sometimes you're gassed because you're playing a defense, you're running around all over the place. Great scorer, very good finisher. But again, let's not, Paul, your Caitlin Clark prejudice is seeping through. Yeah, she's an elite scorer, but I got news for you. Guess who gets her involved in the offense? I didn't need the ISO ball from Mitchell sometimes. Let's just call it for what it is. You can be an elite scorer, but sometimes she's friggin' selfish. How many possessions do you watch? After Caitlin Clark hits a friggin' logo 3, the next subsequent offensive possession down the floor for Indiana, Kelsey Mitchell's got a one-upper. All the time. Bench players are the X factor. 100%. It's what I talked about yesterday. You're right. You're absolutely right, Michael. You don't need 35. You need 18 to 22, max 25 from your bench. You need the players to come in to spell the offensive starters and to hold the league. That's it. That's all you really need. Give them a little energy. Give them a little juice. Give them a little bit of blow. And oh, by the way, remember I gave you the stat when Caitlin Clark plays over 29 minutes, she averages close to 25 points a game. 41 last night, 41 yesterday afternoon, 26 points. Do the math. Have to have a player development coach who focuses on what she needs. Yes. She has to. because she's got some athletic ability. She does. Lousy coaching will knock the Fever out of the playoffs. I've been saying it. I don't like this head coach at all. I don't. She just does not have a feel for the game. AR releases only a foot from the rim. She pushes too hard because there's no technique involved. It's almost as though she's looking for a kid at her size, her height, strong lower body. She should not be looking over her shoulder. She shouldn't. Come on. I mean, just stop already, dude. Just stop with the nonsense. You're just sounding goofy, man. You're like replacing the other trolls on a friggin' Monday. Any other friggin' season, I'm going to tell you right now, let's nip this shit in the bud on a friggin' Monday edition of On Cue. Any other friggin' season, if the media didn't have their head up their friggin' ass and they actually did the right thing and pushed players that are deserving of this award, any other friggin' season, historically, the season that she's having, she's hands down the MVP. But because the media, the talking heads, want to gloss over someone who's 6 of 26, or wax poetic about Wilson, or wax poetic about Miles, or talk about Paige, who, oh, by the way, got outplayed the other night, or talk about Mitchell, who didn't have the best game, but we're going to fixate on her streak of 20 plus. If they refuse to do that any other season, I got news for you. Caitlin Clark's the friggin' MVP of this season. She's a friggin' MVP of the league. She'll never win it because of that thinking and how the media treats her. Like, there's nothing more to say about it. There's really nothing more to say about it. She's having a historic season. She's putting up ridiculous numbers. You talk about in the lexicon of the WNBA in history, her numbers are almost untouchable, what she's done in a short span. But you guys, again, you want to glaze Mitchell every day. You want to glaze Wilson every day. You want to glaze Bucket. You want to glaze Miles. Jeez, my God. Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Just stop with this nonsense. Caitlin Clark has actually helped Mitchell elevate her freaking game. Man, you guys are so freaking quiet when she sucks up the joint, when she stinks. And then when she's having double-doubles, 45 and 10, triple-doubles, 25 and 12, nobody wants to have the conversation. Nobody. Nobody ever wants to have the conversation because you're just as bad. You're just as worse, like the media. It's utterly ridiculous. Reese from Philly. What's going on, my man? Yes. Mechanics. Just go up. Don't overthink it. Just go up. Don't overthink it. It'd be funny if AR was really working on her game. We don't know until we know. I have no idea, but I'm telling you, if you hired someone that was a legit coach that can show you where your hand placement is, how to go up, not to overthink, how can someone with her, height get as blocked as much as she gets blocked? I'm done. By the way, I'm over Lexi. What a waste of a friggin' contract. She needs to go. She needs to go. And the problem here is this. We talk about players that are struggling. And I told you guys this. When you have players coming off the bench, the first time they start knocking down their shots, it's all about confidence. I don't know if this kid is lacking confidence. I don't. She only attempted 3 shots. And 2 of those were threes. So sometimes you force it and you're willing and you're hoping that it goes down. But she has been she's given them nothing. She's given them absolutely nothing. In about a month, she's given them nothing. Aside from a stretch of games where she had 10, 14, and 10, and that was way back in the early of July, she's been putrid. She's been putrid. But it might be a confidence issue because she's really not shooting. Those 3 games that I just gave you, 10, 13, 6 attempts. She's just, there's a fear when your game is off and you're struggling, you always have a tendency to look up to see when you are going to get pulled. That is a problem. That is a problem. The coach will allow Mitchell, and now you're starting to see Caitlin Clark, let her play through certain things. But I believe now, because it's the stretch run, you can ill afford that. You can't. You can ill afford that. I need a coach that, again, I'm not saying placate the players. I'm not. And sometimes you got to go deeper than X's and O's, but you cannot allow certain players to sit in the fourth. You just can't. When you're down, you can't allow 22. You just can't. And the defense, they still haven't made the adjustments. My God, over the top passes, weak side. You know how to slide? You know how to get position? Can you body up? And I told you, I'm not even a Fever fan. I'm a basketball fan, but it annoys the hell out of me. Just make the proper adjustments. If they don't make the adjustments defensively, they will get bounced. They will get absolutely bounced, period. Got to work on your craft every day. Every day. Also, 100%. CC would average 15. I think she would average almost 18 assists. I really do. I really do. If they just finished around the rim. Come on, you know how many points you're leaving on the board? Howie says old guard from the players all the way up to the commission were not allowed. I agree, but the more we start to look at this analytically, and the more we start to dive into this, guys, and you're seeing this push, unbelievable. ESPN announced before season started that, yeah. So they do, and a lot of it too, remember, a lot of it has to do with what they're doing from a betting standpoint, right? And they're also going by what they believe, like the early season prognosticator, when we're talking about wins and losses in the NFL. But I'm telling you, man, I told you my reasoning for this. I told you the exact reasoning why I believe she'll never win the MVP in this league. And it's unfortunate because she is playing at such a ridiculously high level. You're talking about a player that goes on the road and she controlled the game. She was creating, she was rebounding, she was running the offense. She made plays, by the way, throwing the ball, having it off, bounce off, run out to close. She was making plays to close the game. So again, there's value in that. When I need a player to step up and take control, I got news for you. She was doing it. So, nobody cares what I say. I can only come on here and state the case. I think I've stated it 1,000 times. And when I go back after that one game and said, I'm not even going to have this conversation anymore, she played herself out of it. It was more of because I'm so tired of the media. They already made their judgment. They already came out. It was predetermined no matter what she does. So I got tired of talking about it. But then I start to watch Miles, little off night here and there. Wilson, okay, she's won it 4 times. Then you got Paige, who got outplayed the other night. Hey, wait a second. Look what number 22 is doing. So if your definition of MVP is who impacts winning, then I got news for you. She's right there in line to win this award. But plain Jane, Middle America, is not going to win the award. It's just not. And it sucks because they allow these talking heads to continue to say what they say. They just don't. They don't step up. They don't check them. They really don't. That is a problem. That's a problem. She slipped out of her shoes, almost lost the game, right? Slipping and sliding all over the place. If White continues to start, who makes the Fever look like they're always playing 4-on-5, they won't go far. Now, listen, at this point, feelings be damned. Feelings be damned. You have to play the most impactful players. You have to. Great game and not giving up till the end. More work needs to be done. Fever bench. Let me get you positive vibes. CCKK need work. Sophie back in the play. The bench is capable. Margaret, always appreciate it. I think the bench might be an X factor. I do. And here's the argument people are going to make. She's one-dimensional, right? But her job is to score. That's why when people sit there, now follow me. This is where people don't want to have this conversation with me. but the astute Hoops fans understand where I'm going. So every time someone mentions Mitchell, someone counters and says, her job is to score. Okay, your job is to score. That's it. One dimensional, i.e. high volume scorer. There's value in that, don't get me wrong. But is there more value in that or someone who's orchestrating the point, manning the offense, rebounding, dishing, swishing, going to the line, knocking down threes, getting everyone involved, and averaging right around 25 and 6, 24, 10, and 3, 25 and 10, 45 and 10, like putting up gaudy numbers. That is my point. When everyone sits there and throws Mitchell, who's a great player, no one's denying that. No one is disputing that. Please. It's a great run. But as you mentioned, that is her job. She is a volume scorer. She is a volume scorer. That's it. She is a volume scorer. So her job is friggin' score. Tom, I said it. I said it. This is it's a great point. Because it's all on the coach. It's all on the coach. You cannot allow, and they have weak side help. They at times they lack the weak side help, especially late in the game. 100%. You cannot allow Atlanta to hang around. You can't. This coach has so many miscues on a nightly basis that Mitchell and Clark mask it. They mask it. And the other thing is this, to your point, and it's a really sound point. You know what happens? Every time you win basketball games, sometimes we can sit there and say you're winning in spite of the coach. And a lot of times you're sitting there saying you're winning because of the coach. I think with this team, they win in spite of the coach. I really do. I really do. I don't know how someone can be a basketball lifer, right? And not have a feel for the game. And not understand, again, who to stick on the floor at what certain time. It makes no sense. I mean, she got saved. She got saved. Steffi White got saved. If you go back and watch that play, she got saved by Reese. Absolutely saved. I mean, think about the defensive alignment. And again, it's fundamentals. Box to freak out. Nobody did that. That falls on coaching. Angel Reese makes that shot. We are grilling Steffi White even worse today. Her coaching chops stink. They stink. Hey, Rich, I think Reese developed some early skills, but as she grew, her coach has never helped her continue to build her agility. Her legs are all over the place when she gets the ball. She's got pitter-patter feet. That's what I call them. Unadulterated. She's got pitter-patter. She got pitter-patter. She does. I mean, she's like a little duck on a pond with her feet. She gets nervous. She can't. She had another double-double. I said yesterday before I went off the air she was going to have 6 points and 17 rebounds. But she had a double-double. But a lot of that, some of those rebounds, to be fair, it's also a product coming off her misses. Look, I love her energy. I mean, like I said, it's easy to come on the air and mock her and joke. There's something to be said about having that type of energy and having a want under the basket. But for the life of me, you got to be able to finish around the friggin' rim. You have to. You got to be able to finish around the rim. Yes. There is. Not only do I see it in the chat, but I see it all over the place. I see it on social, and I see it during these broadcasts. It's a marketing disaster. How about what they did in the arena yesterday, which sounded like it was overrun by Indiana fans? Again. Paul, you can keep trolling. No one's buying it today because, yeah, that's another thing. I don't know. I'm telling you, he's probably down Tijuana right now. He says he's in Mexico. So we don't know. Maybe he got a little too much sun this weekend. But you know what? Hey, all is well because it's a nice, soft chat. That's what we want. It's nice, soft banter. That's all we want. Shaq is 1,000% in AR's corner. Lisa Leslie coached all last season, postseason. She obviously does not want it bad enough. I think there's talent there. I do. I've gotten actually criticized for saying, even though I've ripped her in the past, but I do like Angel Reese. I don't like her antics sometimes or what she says. And I think some of the stats are manufactured with some of the crap. But there has to be something about want, okay? About want under the basket. And knowing where, the corner, the projection, the angle that the ball's coming off the glass. Now, when she misses her own bunnies, and then that's another rebound and a score, sure, people are going on her. But if we're going to be critical of these young players, well, and sit there and say they're young, then we have to be fair here. You have to be fair. Angel Reese is still a young player. Caitlin Clark is a young player. Miles is a young player. Buckets is a young player. They're still going to learn the game of basketball. They'll grow, they'll mature as players if they figure out a way to just keep perfecting their craft. And that means you have to put time in. You have to put time in. Lexi doesn't need to score. Already at 3+ options. Boston worries me a little bit. I don't know where her head's at sometimes. I think someone in the chat brought up a great point. She almost pushes the basketball. Like, you got to be a little more softer around the rim. You do. Mitchell is such a dynamic scorer and attacker. She's a physical player. And then obviously you can open up because Clark can facilitate and put the ball on the floor. Right? So I just think the Lexi thing, it's just not good. And we talked a little bit, and Mark, I think you might have mentioned this on another chat. I think you might have mentioned this on one of the videos. So we know what's coming up, right? And we know, are these players going to log a substantial amount of minutes? And then you come back for the stretch run. That's something that we certainly can have a conversation about. Sante chimes in, Lexi more concerned with her pregame outfits playing well. She hasn't made any improvements at some point. The minutes racked up, leading to big, comfortable playing. It's the contract too, right? I'm paying you for what? And the production's not there. Agree. If Caitlin Clark's teammates bailed her out, I got news for you. She's having 18 assists all the time. Top Gun, what's going on? Tom says, Rich, let's talk about Caitlin Clark's hot streak has coincided with her not crying and receiving tease. She has left all that drama all over the top theatrics. Yes, Tom, great point. That's a great, it's funny you mention that because remember I said she was, if you guys tuned in a couple weeks ago, I said she's a ticking time bomb because of how she acts on the floor. She's an immature kid sometimes, but she's still a kid, and she's going to mature and understand not every call will go her way. So ticking time bomb goes off for 45 and 10, right? But to your point, the theatrics are not that there. Caitlin Clark, at this moment, is playing the best basketball of her career. She is locked in. She's locked in. And I don't care, honestly, if we get the people that are commenting that, no, she's not. If you know basketball and you understand exactly what she's doing, when you talk about controlling the tempo of the game, when you talk about being the orchestrator, when you're talking about 26-9 and you walk out on the road against a team that you need to beat in overtime by 4, that's a hell of a win. That's a gut check win, okay? You don't apologize for wins, but the fact is no one's guarded or defended like she is. We all know it. Even the haters need to acknowledge it. She wasn't just scoring. She's creating, she's rebounding, she's setting the tone, the tempo. You saw when they were getting out on the fast break. She is the best player on the floor pretty much on a nightly basis. There are dominant players like Wilson. There are flashy players like Miles. There are streaky players like Buckets. There are high-volume, consistent scorers like Mitchell. But again, if I'm building a team, I want a floor general. I want the basketball smarts, the acumen. I want the court vision. I want the ability to knock down the 3, put it on the floor, facilitate dish, go to the bucket. She checks off all the boxes. So at this point, we can gloss over everyone else who's sitting there saying she's not an MVP, she's not worthy of the conversation. The true hoop fans and the knowledgeable fans forget about, again, the media. No one cares about the media for a second. Forget about the MVP voting. In another world, in an alternate universe, where people looked at Caitlin Clark and didn't look at her as plain Jane, didn't get annoyed that she doesn't say what they want her to say, and we didn't have to deal with the other theatrics and the drama that is this league, she hands down wins an MVP. She hands down wins an MVP. And my annoyance the last several weeks was more about the media, not her per se, or the lack of love they're giving her, right? They should have the NBA MVP voters vote. I hate the fact that they are basically adding in this panel from ESPN, which is just ludicrous. Joey B in Colorado, smoking and joking. ESPN halftime show, Reese goes 3 for 10. They talk about her for 7 minutes. No mention of Clark except that she had a good first half. Yes, can we just admit it now? Can we all agree on a Monday edition? By the way, we're building out the studio, so you don't see some of the graphics. I apologize. On a Monday edition of On Cue. No one actually noticed that. I'm a little surprised. She's a phenomenal player, but the networks are never going to give her love. They're just not. Like, let's just move on. I can keep throwing number at you left and right, and everyone that's trying to dismiss me, you're going to get killed in the conversation. Because you guys keep pushing back the goalpost. That's all you're doing. You just keep pushing back the goalpost. Every time we throw you a number, okay, 26, 9, and 3, you went on the road and you're making clutch plays. Hello. The other night, 29, 10, and 3, 11, and 18, MVP. There we go. Third straight 20 and 10 game. No one wants to talk about it. Her last 10 games, 14% of her possessions have been ISOs. 1,300 points per possession. 13 of 24. 74% true shooting. 24 getting to the line. And then she's got the lowest turnover rate. Her last 10 games, if you go back 3 days ago, she's averaging 26. Come on, man. Come on. Any other year, any other season, any other league, she's hands down. She is hands down the MVP. It is not even debatable. But I said forget about it because of the media. Vyer from the watch team mentality. Jamie chimes in, the only player on the floor they actually seem to look up to Caitlin Clark. Has got her back, in my opinion, is KK. Olivia Miles, just even the best player on the Lynx. Fee, Courtney McBride, or Howard. Seriously, is Miles better than who? Listen, I'm a huge Olivia Miles fan, but we also know since Collier came back, numbers drop, right? And rookies hit walls. Right? Rookies hit walls. We've seen that. You can't play at here, how about this? Wow. NBA, so sources, NBA lacks proof Balmore paid via firms. Wow, this was the whole Kawhi Leonard situation. I'll talk about that later on the week. Jonathan Marshall, who covers the NBA in college. Wow, that just dropped. But going back to, the mentality of this team, the depth of this team, and just, certain players playing with confidence. And that's what we need. Anytime you're going to make a strong push into the playoffs, everyone's got to understand their role. I mean, I think we can all agree, right? Everyone's got to understand their role. If you understand your role, you're good to go. And the fact that you can throw out certain players, I mean, how about yesterday, right? How about my girl, Tippy, right? She has 20. She played 33 minutes. This is what you're seeing. Now, all of a sudden, okay, here we go. You get production from unsung heroes. Now, when you got that playoff series and you're coming in with confidence, you're coming up with a hot hand, you're playing with house money, now all of a sudden, hold on, this player's a threat. We got to keep an eye on now number 21. We got to keep an eye on maybe number 25. Maybe Billings gets into a groove a little more. Oh, Cunningham's coming off the bench. Oh, we already saw what Harris does. So can they make a run? Yeah, they can. Are they a championship? Are they built like a championship team at this moment? I still don't believe so because, again, rebounding and defense might be the issue. But they can still go on a run and make it interesting. No way that was a foul on CC at the end. Yes, per Q's tweet. Exactly. Thank you, Joey, following me on social. Correct. Thank you. There was no effing way, that was exactly what I said, that was a foul. In the bag, the refs are. They're in the bag. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. KM scores 30. CC scores 20 with 10. That's at least 40 basic math. Yes, and I went to liberal arts school. If Mitchell doesn't play D, then you're playing 4 or 5. Not good to win without D. Michael says KK gets it better than AB. Yes. Well, the production's going to go down. You know that, and I know it. Cam's never going to win an MVP. She can score. She isn't higher than Aja and is only 1 point higher than CC. She's a volume scorer, but you know what happens? We look at the run. We look at the points, the run, right? That's what we look at. 20 plus, right? It's blatant obvious with the refereeing. There's bias. WNBA against Clark, 100%. Yes. You want to print the shirt? Go ahead. When she's not doing her job, she's a detriment to the team. They don't pull her when she's not doing good because we're trying to keep this stupid 20-point streak alive. I text my buddy yesterday, and I was like, here we go. She's got a one-upper. Here comes a 3. What does she do? She chucks a 3. That's manufactured, I think, from the organization. That's my opinion. I really do. I do. I think it's manufactured. They want to keep the streak alive. Joey, you got to be open. Nothing else besides PGA, U.S. Amateur Championships. You got cricket going on right now. You got a little MLB. How about Tommy John passed away, right? Should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. 288 wins. There's no way they should have called that foul on CC from Ryan. 3-point shot. Yeah. And how about the broadcast with the little whoopsie that I tweeted out? Gave a little shout out to Ryan Clark. She's putting people on the floor because they're fouling her in the crowd. That's just hard. Man, if that's how you're going to coach, get the hat. Put me in, right? That's horrible. Pitter-patter is the word of the day. Pitter-patter. It's all about the pitter-patter. That's it. If you have pitter-patter Pete, you're in trouble, man. I need to give more credit to Q when he wears the V-neck. I mean, it's an acquired taste. I hate to say fall's right around the friggin' corner, so what's going to happen? We're going back to the hoodies, man, right? Unless we find ourselves in warm weather. You know, the funny thing is, I don't see him. I don't see the other guy. I don't, the other goofball, right? I don't see the other guy. And by the way, no one was blocked. No one was blocked. I just allowed it to continue, and you guys did what you had to do. Clark keeps making these ignorant people in the media look stupid. Clark was taking over the game, yet just keep trying to hype up Reese during halftime. You're right, Rich. Clark. She never will. She never will. And it's just the biggest robbery when you think about it. It is. Because the Fever as an organization, they want to sell you that the offense runs through who? It runs through Mitchell. Because she scores at a ridiculous clip. But, again, nobody wants to have the conversation of who gets her the basketball, who orchestrates, who runs the floor, who runs the paint. When you come at me and say, well, that's not Mitchell's job, okay, but you're still benefiting Batman and Robin. So you're going to sit there and say, the running back that has the best offensive line in football, every hole opens up. All he needs to do is go, left to right or north to south. Well, you know what? There's going to be some cuts involved. He still has to have the vision. He's still got to hit the hole. He's still got to run for long touchdowns and long gains. So, yeah, Caitlin Clark still has to get the ball into Mitchell's hands. But Mitchell is also an ISO player. And I think at times Mitchell's ego gets the better of her. Now, can she take over a game? 100%. Can she go hard to the bucket? 100%. Is she a great finisher? Yes. Is she physical? Absolutely. She's one of the best finishers in the league, but sometimes the ego gets the best of her. Every time Clark hits a long, I'm telling you guys, watch. Every time Clark hits a logo 3, the next possession, more times than not, Mitchell's got to chuck it. Here we go. Where's that big mouth Pete? Guess he has nothing to say since Clark beat Paige and Reese in the same weekend. I don't know, man. I got news for you. I don't know where some of these guys are. I don't. I really do not know. And quite frankly, I don't really care, to be honest. Because if you're not bringing anything to the friggin' table, we don't need you. Get the hell out of here. Take it somewhere else. Go have a little hot toddy somewhere else. Go troll somewhere else. CC will win MVP. 72 voters look at team standing performance stats. CC needs 24 and 9. Fever in 4th place. If the Fever gets to 2nd place, she's locked. David, I'll tell you this. That is a bold take on a Man Up Monday edition of On Cue, brother. That is a bold take. I don't see it happening. I love your line of thinking. Here's the problem with your thought. Look who's voting. Think about this for a second. Look at the panel that is comprised when you're talking about the MVP. They're going to pull some reporters that are already biased towards, or against, I should say, Caitlin Clark. They are going to have a bunch of knuckleheads on ESPN be part of this voting process. There's going to be such pushback. I guarantee it'll be bullying. And oh, by the way, it's not public. We don't know. We just don't know. She's done everything asked of her, especially the second half of the season. She really has. She has done everything asked of her when you talk about being a leader on the floor general, the facilitator, which people want to overlook, you're goofy. She single-handedly has kept them in games, won games, putting up consistent numbers. Her defense has been much better. And oh, by the way, the narrative about the turnovers, that's been squashed. Q, can you make more layups in a minute contest in Angel Reese? I don't know. I mean, you got to give me a day or two to get warm. I shot a doc for 94.50 for Jersey Shore, and we were reenacting Chris Smith, who played with the Knicks in the NBA, his buzzer beater against Baltimore. And of course, I went right down Coffin Corner. First attempt, right on the blacktops of North Jersey. Nailed it. Of course, the camera's not running. I mean, I even did his little push-off like he did. Right? I did. But, you know, they didn't get it on film. So, I don't know. CC's playing with more confidence. Yes. Because this is what happens when you get locked in. When you get locked in as a player, you believe every time you get the basketball. Do you see, I know she'll work on her handle a little more, but she's playing at a level that every time she puts the ball on the floor, she feels she can literally blow by the defender. Or she can create and kick. And that's a dangerous player, man. It's a dangerous player. Like I said, all you need to do is just kind of sit back and enjoy it. Jazzman, appreciate first time. CC1, wins all the time. She's a winner. I think they called it the best 10-game stretch. Her numbers are just, but again, the problem is Wilson's won it multiple times. She's won it 4 times. She plays a center position. You know, I posted it on the channel. If you guys felt that, did she help her case? And 50% said, yeah, best player since All-Star break, late season push. That's where I think it becomes interesting. Now, just hear me out for a second. And I'll equate it to the sport that I call a lot of, and that's boxing, and DB and Joey and Tom and Mike and Sarge and Delaware will appreciate this. You know, you can be down early in a round, and then midway through, you generate a little offense, and then that last 30 seconds, you close it with a flurry. A lot of times, it's how you start the round, but it's that lasting impression with the judges. I'm not necessarily saying you're always going to win the round, but you can make the decision-making, how the scoring is that round, that much more difficult with a late flurry. Now, this team was 15-10 after they lost to Golden State. They got the win against Seattle. That's when she had 45. They are 8-2, I believe. They only had 2 losses against 2 good teams, and they could have beat Vegas, and you could have argued if they actually played Miles the right way early on and got the ball out of her hands. That's the game Mitchell had 37. They could have won that game. So they can be on this 10, 11, 12-game winning streak. But she is now, forget about just the box score. You're looking at 45, 27, 32, 26, 29, 26. You're looking at rebounds. You're looking at assists. You're looking at cutting down turnovers. You're looking at getting everyone involved. And if her teammates make some of these bunnies, her numbers are going up exponentially. She's been on a tear. So now you've got late season push. So what is she going to do over the next 8 games? What is she going to do over the next 4 to 5, over the next 4 that are on the road? Is she going to have moments where she takes over in the fourth quarter and she drops 35-10? My whole argument and debate when it comes to her in the MVP conversation, what are you doing late in the season? Okay? What are you doing late in the season? Because no other player in the league is guarded the way she is. I don't know why that's even up for debate. So there's something to be said of how they call the game, officiate against her. But what I'm seeing now on a nightly basis is a player that is playing with the utmost supreme confidence. The game is slowed down. It's almost effortless. That's a dangerous player. Bob says, McNutt said if CC wants to join the sisterhood, if she so desires it, they will give her a rub on the broadcast. They want Caitlin Clark to bend the knee. I agree. They want her to placate. It's not who she is. It's not who she is. I just don't believe that right now. She's not a... Look, there are certain players and athletes that you're going to win the media over, you're not. And I think a lot of times the media like when other players don't give Caitlin Clark their shine, right? What is that old saying, you know, an enemy of my enemy is whatever the hell it is, right? So, you know, you might have a buddy that doesn't like someone and you've never met that person, but because your buddy doesn't like them, you don't like that person. I believe that's how they treat Caitlin Clark. So when you have Miles sitting there, you know, liking a post, or, you know, Wilson who, you know, gets all the whistles, or, you know, maybe not giving her the shine, or you have a teammate going on a podcast and not even mentioning your name for MVP consideration, that will allow others now to come out of the woodwork and say, see, I told you, nobody likes this kid. Nobody likes her because she's plain Jane. She doesn't fit the narrative that the league wants. She's not part of the push, the agenda that the league is pushing, right? So to me, it's one of those situations where if these announcers, if these broadcasters, if these talking heads really wanted the league to grow, if they were really backing the league as they say they were, if they really felt that, hey, we've got some great young players, strong women, let's empower them, then I got news for you. You know what the league would do? The league would turn around and they would be more vocal and more supportive of Caitlin Clark. They do the opposite. They're the antithesis of that. They will never give her any type of credit. And if they do, it's almost a backhanded, passive-aggressive shot at her. Well, yeah, you know, she benefits from having X, Y, and Z on the floor. Well, yeah, you know, but, she did have the turnover. It's always a but. It's always a caveat. It's always a push the goalpost back. But and we know who they are on the air. If they just came on and basically said, like Debbie A the other day literally said, MVP conversation, gave her the friggin' love. At this point, it's too late. Like Mark alluded to and a couple guys alluded to, they anointed Wilson the MVP prior to the friggin' season. Who the hell does that? Who the hell does that? Gotta love the general. They only work if others don't want to be Chiefs. If you need soldiers, you all win. CC better than our team when they are switched, or they will tune in to our vision win. By the end of the season, Lynx might not be playing the starters. Well, we already saw, right? Wilson rested. You're talking about the Lynx with Miles, though. But that's a good point, right? So maybe the numbers, Indiana jockeying for that position. Of course. That's a fair point. Fever can win the championship. There's no team currently in the league who is a sure lock to win it all. There's parity in this league. My only issue is at the height. They're not the best rebounding team. They're not. 20-point streak may cost KM her legs and a Fever a deep run. Well, her legs weren't there in that game yesterday because, again, she's running around guarding the best player that the opposition was throwing out yesterday. So, obviously, again, it's just kind of one of those, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I got to run around and kind of keep pace. My legs are going to be a little short, especially when you're hitting the front of the iron. You're not getting anything. You're tired. Your legs are tired. That's all. Whole offense designed to get KM the ball in our left hand. SWNSC and AB have all said this. This is built around KM, and we know who it should be built around. Count your blessings, a troll. They were going to waste our time because you guys got on them. I mean, you guys, like I said, you guys checked them. You put an end to it. You put an absolute end to it. I don't know, the J. Hoover sure, the wokeism, right? What was the word he tried to use it with me? Wokeism or whatchaboutism? What's funny, CC going to break the record that KM is making right now, playing plus a night. I also noticed that the Fever have had a lot of more off-the-ball movement in the last few games. That's spacing on the floor. You know why? Because they're allowing Clark to facilitate. And once she starts drawing that double and triple, you got to be wise to it. You got to be wise to it. Mark, what's going on, brother? In bold, I love it. In bold, Mark says, Rich, the MVP race ended Saturday night when the Lynx beat the Aces for the second time in a week, and Miles had another strong performance. Miles has stepped the Lynx to the best record at 29-7, has steered. So you're going to go with the adage. You're going with who you beat, what point you beat, and here we go. And here we go. A rookie winning the MVP. Now, in another sport, maybe. In this league, in this sport, it's a rarity. It is a rarity. You know it and I know it. And we also know the league frowns upon the guard position, the two legit guards that have won it in the past. Miles is Baggett Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year. Now, are we going on the argument? It has to go to the team with the best record. They're 29-7. They're playing very good basketball. Obviously, they stubbed their toe against the Aces, but if they don't, it's a ridiculous winning streak. But now you also get Collier back, and that's a different animal. Once you get NC back, man, I mean, that changes schematically what they do offensively too. And a couple of you pointed out, maybe Miles' numbers are not as overblown like we've saw, but her run has been remarkable. Look, there's talent in this league. All the players we mentioned on a daily basis on the show, or what you guys talk about or read or tweet or engage in, they're worthy of MVP conversation. They are. They are. Everyone defines MVP differently. Everyone has, it's subjective, kind of like I used a boxing analogy. Kind of like the way I used a boxing analogy. We know seasons are long, but a lot of times in the NFL, quarterbacks totally start to separate themselves late in a season. example of your boxing metaphor. Sugar Ray beat Hagler. Lester, you steal the round. You steal the award. It's, again, what you're leaving, the lasting impression. The lasting impression. And right now, she is playing the best basketball of her career. Thank God no Pete. I heard is bad too. Oh, did you? All right. What's the criteria for MVP? Are you asking my criteria? Me, Rich Quiñones, I define an MVP when we're talking about the most valuable player. I'm looking at consistency, efficiency. If we're talking about the sport of basketball, and I'm looking at facilitator, the orchestrator, the maestro, the one that you want to have the ball in their hands the majority of the time, Caitlin Clark checks off all the boxes. Now, if I was pro center position and dominant, then I would sit there and say, hey, Wilson playing both ends of the floor, rebounding, defense. But I also countered that argument with saying she's also won it 4 times, so maybe there's a little fatigue. Like, every time you go on social, we can keep throwing numbers. She's the fastest player with 100 points, 10 rebounds, 20 assists. She's the fastest player with 200 points, 200 threes, 500, whatever. I'm just throwing goofy numbers at you. So we can always throw the numbers out there and make them fit our argument. But what I'm seeing at this moment, what I've seen over the last 10, 11, 12 games is a player that is now really running the position as brilliantly as we've seen in years past. It's just at a certain level. It's no slight. It's no knock on these other players. I've never said they weren't good players. They're all great in their own right. But when you talk about adding the element of the rebounds, which gets you out on the fast break, when you start to talk about the element of the assist, which equal buckets, I don't give a crap how you get on base. I got news for you. If you ever played baseball, a walk is just as good as a base hit. We're talking efficiency. So you guys might sit there and say, well, one player's had 20 games of 23 plus points. Yeah, okay. But I can also give you a player that's averaging 20 and 10, which equals at the end of the day 30. Efficient. I really don't know how much more to say about this. They're all worthy. They're all worthy. But right now, this level she's playing, it's light years than what we're seeing with the rest of this league. It is. It really is. KM is a great volume scorer, but she doesn't put the ball on the floor to try to get others involved because that's not her game, and that's okay. That's not who she is. That's okay. That's okay. But I'm telling you, you got to acknowledge greatness when you see it. And I just think that if the media was really being fair, if they were really being fair, like the MVP should go to the most valuable player, not who friggin' fits my agenda, not who fits my narrative, not someone that I want to be buddy-buddy with on social and give them a little shine or talk to them before the game or hang out with them after. The WNBA, the media, and the talking heads, they've made it now this fraternity. ESPN has made this fraternity. That's all it is, sorority. If you're not part of it, you're not part of it. You're never going to be part of it. It's not even, I can't take them credible as analysts because they're not. They just talk out of their you-know-what. They want to say something that they believe will make the player gravitate towards them or give them that soundbite or go on their podcast. But if they were being fair, if they were being objective, if they were analyzing the game of basketball that you guys can do better than they can, hands down, you would sit there and say, yeah, X, Y, and Z are in the conversation, but hey, can we start having this deep dive into what Caitlin Clark has done, what this kid is doing on a nightly basis, and how we shouldn't gloss over this, how we should start giving her her shine? Hey, I got news for you. I'm going to be the first one on network saying, I believe she's the MVP. But no one has done that yet. No one has done that. which is just boggles my mind. Why? Because they just look at her and they don't like the way she looks. They look at her and she's plain Jane from Middle America. You can have great players. You can give credit where credit is due. Two things can be true, right? And by the way, Caitlin Clark's rookie season is better than Miles' rookie season. Just, those are facts. Those are facts. Thank you, Bob. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Thank you. I would figure it out eventually. Cece not selling her soul. Characters just too good. She can't be bought. Michael says, Wilson more valuable to the team than Miles is a link. Wilson will get MVP long before Miles. Wilson is going to get it, and it's pretty clear why. Not because of what she's done in the past, because she plays the center position. There's a bias. She's dominant. She's a rim protector. She rebounds. And she's had some explosive friggin' games. Like games where you sit there and say, she's damn good, man. She's damn good. Now, if she never won it before, this would have been her coup de grace, but she's a future Hall of Famer. She's a phenomenal player. She's a phenomenal player. And the other thing that I think goes overlooked, that I don't hear too many people talking about, and I get it, center position, but she's extremely efficient from the floor. She is. And she's really not that bad of a three-point shooter. She's going to win it. But any other year, if we're being honest and we're being genuine, Clark would win it. Clark would win it. If we're really being honest. Season's not over yet. You got a bunch of road games. Anything can happen, man. A player can get hurt. A player can struggle. A player can have a cold streak. It happens in the NBA. It does. What do you got, Unadulterated? Go ahead. Call this out. Go ahead, brother, on a Monday. Go ahead. Man it up. As we know, there are numerous CC channels dedicated to lauding her every day. Why is a team member mentioning another Fever player an insult and slap in CC's face? I don't think it was, if I said slap or insult, I don't know if I used that verbiage, but if I did, I think it was a slight. I think because it buys into this notion, this perception that she's not liked and she's not supported. So you can call me out on it. I don't have a problem with it. Maybe my wording was not the best wording. I apologize for that. And I know I sit there and say, we want people to say certain things. But again, that's me on that podcast. There's no reason I can't give love and shine to both players. Right? So I get what you're saying. I do think it's somewhat of an insult because we want to give all this love to one player because of this streak that she's on. And she's a volume scorer. She's had explosive games. She's had big buckets. Phenomenal player. But we also forget that someone else gets her involved in the offense, and they're just equally, if not more important than she is. So if I'm a teammate, I'm also giving that player a little bit of love. I guess it fed into the narrative that she gets zero respect even from her teammates. Now, that might not be the case, because we're not in that locker room, right? We're not in that locker room. I'm not going to sit here and say her teammates can't stand her. No. But what I'm saying is that it just feeds into that narrative and the perception that nobody will give her credit, or they refuse to give her credit where credit is due. And as I said, it doesn't help. Once the media likes a player, that's it. And once a media doesn't like a player, that's it. Two things can be true. You said before this weekend, Rich, let's see if the trolls show up at the Fever win. You called it, Rich. Yeah, because what happens is they want to show up because they're still trying to state their case. This is why you guys should never really get bent out of shape with trolls. You really shouldn't, because that's what they do. There's a difference between stating your case, like Unadulterated called me out, and it was a fair point. It was a good comment. He called me out, and I had to back it up. So like I said, man, it's one of these things like if I am, if I am a anti, right? An anti Clark fan, I still have to acknowledge it. And I did, and she had an unbelievable game. Top Gun. It's a great handle, by the way. You don't put facts into statements. See, this is what you do, Paul. This is what you do. I got to call you out. You push the goalpost back. You try to counter the counter argument. If you showed a little humility and a little grace, and you're actually genuine and took a step back, recognize how great of a player Caitlin Clark is. The problem is you have a tendency, like others, that have such a bias and agenda against her. It does not matter what she does. So she can have 35 and 10, and you'll sit there and say, well, what about the 3 turnovers in the third quarter? She can have 28, 6, and 4. You'll sit there and say, but she was only 2 of 6 from beyond the arc. You just don't like Clark. We know it. We have other people that comment in that are the same way. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're going to get checked and called out on it because we know where you're coming from. We dealt with that last week. Trust me. You just don't like her game. That's all. You just don't like her game. But I'll tell you this, if you cheer for her team and she's in your backcourt, you're going to laud her constantly. You're going to laud her constantly. And Parker's year was unbelievable, by the way. Correct. That's a great point. And remember that team, right? Thompson was coaching that team. Yeah. Duplicate Candace Parker's MVP championship season as a rookie. Checks the boxes to do so, in his possession to do it. But remember, you're winning a regular season award. But I do agree with you. They want that push. They want to sell you on something. They want storylines. That's all. That's all they want. They want storylines and they want the content. And guys, like I said, I don't think Paul's moonlighting as Pete, because Paul went off on me like 26 comments on a video before. He just does not like Caitlin Clark. That's okay. And that's okay. And there's no, but, we kind of call him out for that. Miles is this season's most promising rookie, full stop. She's not as good as Clark. Nothing points to Miles being better than Clark. When we said how great Clark was, they said no rings. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. They keep pushing. Pushing. That's all. Like, I don't care about rings. Like, folks, you're talking about an MVP, right? You're talking about an MVP. You're talking about the most valuable player. You take them off the floor. Is there value with that team? If you don't, then you kind of know. You already have your answer. It's almost like when we talk about the Hall of Fame. Right? I don't care about what you did in college. We're talking about the friggin' pros. I don't care what you did in the minor leagues. We're talking about the friggin' pros. I don't care what you did for the Olympic team. I don't care what you did for, in the Olympics, for FIBA, for FIFA. I don't care. You're talking about right now, present day, on this day, August 17th, 2026, 1:31 Eastern Time. Right now, you cannot tell me that she doesn't deserve to be in the conversation of MVP. You can't tell me she's not worthy of winning the award. You can't. Keep pushing the goalpost back. That's fine. You're making my case for me why she'll never win. Your line of thinking is the media's line of thinking. Every time they have an opportunity to basically dismiss what the player is doing. I'm talking about impact. It can't be overstated. It can't. Now, you want to sit there and you want to talk about Mitchell pulling votes? I mentioned that the other day. They might cancel each other out. Hell, and the other reason I got annoyed with Boston saying what she said is because, again, now you're talking first team WNBA. She might not even make that, which would be a joke. So think about 2 great players playing on a team right now, running back over 1,800 yards, quarterback over 5,000 friggin' passing yards. You're right there in the MVP conversation. I got news for you. You're going to pull votes from each other. I mentioned this weeks ago. That's not a bad thing. It just shows you have 2 very good players on the floor. But if everyone sits there and pushes Mitchell, why can't we push Clark? Everyone, every night, all I hear is Mitchell, 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 Mitchell. Well, I got news for you. Who's also trying to get her to friggin' basketball? But they will pull votes from each other. It's common sense. If Kyer was healthy and put up these numbers and Miles was, putting up these numbers, they would probably pull votes from each other throughout the long season. I don't trust the panel at all. I don't. And if you guys want to poo-poo when I talk about efficiency or generated, come on, man. Is a base hit not as good as a walk? Is a walk not as good? You're on first base. It doesn't matter how you get there. So when you're dropping 10, 11, 12 assists, she should have 15 a night. That accounts for 30 friggin' points of your offense. And you score 90, that's 1/3 of your offense generated by her hand as a point guard. Not talking about her scoring. That's efficient. That's impactful. That's value. That's all I've been saying. Keep pushing back the friggin' goalpost. I don't care. And she's a damn good rebounder for a guard. That's it. Generate points. Points over team, any other. Assist guaranteed. But the league and the media will never, ever allow it. Points, assists, more valuable. Yes, agree. Miss B chiming in. I got to get to Miss B's comment. Waking up early. Good morning, Miss Z. I see it right there. Good morning, Miss B. Good morning to you, sunshine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Every time Kelsey and I suit up, they have to go against our own human emotions. You got to learn how to play within yourself, right? You have to. That's a key. That's a key. CC cannot be matched, has not been. We can't forget rookie or, someone. But that shows you. Doesn't that prove my point? The media screwed this up. They did. The media screwed this up. All they had to do was just do it the right way. Either was Elena Deladon, okay? Either was, I don't think Tarazi was on it as well. And we know Clark wasn't on it. But, the commissioner will sell you that they went through a second-party marketing firm. Right? Caitlin Clark, major WNBA records, including single-game assists, fastest time to reach 200 career three-pointers, the most career games with at least 20 points, 10 assists, 20 games. It's there. Fastest 700 assists, CC 63 games. Simmons 87. John, you can't give me Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons. I appreciate it, but I can't anything that has to do with Ben Simmons, I can't do it. Fair explanation. No, it's not I want to apologize because I think I misspoke, but yeah. They're making a run, and it's interesting. CC takes the blame for every loss. I still have not seen any exposing team put their best defender on Cam and not on CC. Interesting point, too. It's going to be a hell of a finish towards the season. It is. It really is. Mike in Ohio chimes in. Q, I got to give you a lot of credit. You could have easily trolled Angel Reese. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Like I said, she's 24. It's easy to come on and create a show and just mock her. I threw the highlight up because she didn't finish around the rim. That's her MO, but I'm not gonna poo-poo on her. I'm not. If you think Pete's comments are nerve-wracking, you should hear. He can't defend himself, and we're having fun at his expense. And he can't defend himself. I'm trying to. I have to. I gotta. Oh, wow, look at this. Appreciate that. Wow, thank you. Chiming in from South Africa. Really want to support other players, but with how the media is with CC, I don't give a fuck about other teams. Nor should you. Fuck this, right? Exactly. Yes. That's right. That's right, Ash. Phenomenal player in her own right. Phenomenal player, right? She was a very good player. I mean, listen, all worthy Hall of Famers. Let me get this right. So KM is the best player on the team, but the teams defend CC like she is the best player. Someone who actually gets it. Yep, someone who gets it. Oh, is this a shot at me? Sounds like your typical big mouth Latino New Yorker. Huh. That might be a first. Interesting. Can we keep this up there for a moment? Yeah, we'll keep it up there for a moment. All right. Thank you. Gracias por tu tiempo, cabrón. Cece is so civil. She gave others flowers, but others refrained to even mention their name when asked a direct question. Yeah. I want to go, by the way, I want to go back to this. No one in the league is defended like she is. No one is. Sometimes I think the media is doing this just to keep the story rolling. I don't believe, I don't. I believe they do it because they absolutely believe it. I really do. You got me on that one. We're boxing guys. You know how the online conversation about Floyd and Mayweather created a college industry of content creators of basketball, boxing, MMA. So I'm here for appreciate that, brother. And they fought way past their prime. And then, of course, Manny brings up the shoulder injury. They say Paige is better because she has a ring. Would you take Lexi over Caitlin? I don't, it's funny you mentioned that too, because the whole ring comp, what does that mean, man? So Dan Marino never won a ring. Does that mean Dan Marino is any less of a quarterback? He's not one of the all-time great throwers of the football, pure pocket passer. Doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Mark says, here you're rich. In my opinion, my friend, the narrative of a rookie like Miles coming in the league to a team that lost 6 players of free agency expansion. Listen, she carried the team, and there has to be something to be said about that. As a rookie, yes, you make a strong case. You make a very strong case. She is phenomenal, but you know how the league frowns upon a rookie winning an award like this. You have to go back. You're talking... it's beyond a rarity. It's beyond a rarity to win Rookie of the Year or a rookie to win MVP. Candace Parker, she did it in 2008. She won the MVP. She had an historic season, by the way. She averaged 18, 10, and I think 4 assists. She was phenomenal, but the game has changed over the last 20 years. And if you're talking about the MVP, if we're really being honest, and we're talking about legit true guards, I give you those two. Facilitate, score, dish. Like I mentioned, you've got a player leading league in assists per game, top 3 in scoring. You got another player having a ridiculous rookie campaign. You have another player who's high efficiency. And then you got another player that's, to me, elite 3. She's 3 level in Paige. But I think right now, you get rid of Paige, you get rid of Mitchell. It's Miles, it's Wilson, it's Clark. And I think Clark has jumped Miles, but we know they're not going to give it to Caitlin Clark. Now, if they give it to Miles, then I think it's going to be very contentious, the arguments, the debate. Rookie of the Year, 100%. But Caitlin Clark also had a better Rookie of the Year than Miles, and she didn't win the MVP. See what I'm saying? Like, it's how we slice and dice it. It's how we look at the numbers. It's all subjective. It's fun. It's good sports talk. It's good bar talk, right? At the end, it is. But they keep pushing. This is my opinion, and you guys will most likely disagree with me. I feel, as an outside observer, the organization is pushing Mitchell more than they push Clark. I could be wrong. You guys can think I'm goofy with the take. It's just my opinion. It's just what I see and what I surmise. I feel as though they're pushing Mitchell more than they push Caitlin Clark. They want Mitchell to keep getting hers, to get that 20. You got to remind the broadcaster, she's at 18. She needs another 2 for there's your 3. The streak is alive. The streak continues. Someone, I'll be damned if I don't believe someone told her, you're sitting on 18, chuck it and get to 20. They're force-feeding her. They're pushing that narrative where she is the MVP, where she is the best player on the team. And if we're talking most valuable and impactful, I would disagree. It doesn't mean she's not a great player. That's all. I know yesterday was sunny, but you're preaching, Rich. Mark, you know what? I'll tell you this. Sunday we talked NFL, and I was going to preach on a Sunday, but I'm preaching on a friggin' Monday. How's that for you? And I got my fresh roasted coffee. I don't even have the pastor shirt or the collar shirt on today. So yeah, we got to preach. You have to. Got to do it. Gino said Cece should have called him if she wanted to go to UConn. That man is full of himself. Can't stand the guy. You know, so one of my all-time favorite players, because I covered her in high school and in college, was Elena Deladon. And I was so happy to see she got her shine, Hall of Fame, phenomenal. Her impact, ridiculous. But you mentioned Gino, and, you know, Elena spurns UConn because she wanted to stay at Delaware to take care of her sister. And, like, to this day, there's still, like, that kind of riff, right? Gino is definitely full of himself. I mean, we kind of know that. But Gino also said that Caitlin Clark is an MVP, like hands down the most impactful player in the league. 17 of flagrant fouls. Yeah, that's a great number. At least show the pig where CC is laughing. I really... It's all over social. It's all over social. 99 problems. And Caitlin Clark, 81. Is there another player that commands more attention in a game? No. Nope. Nope. It's like when, well, I mean, this is outlandish, and I'm sure I'll get people in an uproar. But it's like when, you know, the then Redskins back in the day, they had a game plan. They had to get a tight end, the Chip Lawrence Taylor, when they played the Giants, right? Because he was such a dominant force. You had a game plan, right? Gibbs decided, we need an extra tackle. We need an extra linebacker. We got a chip number 56. We can't let him go off. We just can't. ESPN is covering their collective ass. They always do. They always do. It was the over-the-air media that talked to Clark in college. Yeah. The over-the-air media, right? The networks and some of these talking heads and some of the casuals will jump in, right? They'll jump in, and you really don't know what angle they're coming from. You don't. You really don't. I think a lot of it's skewed, and I think a lot of it is just not genuine. Strange if Fever played the last 4 regular season games. By the way, and you have to think about this. Excellent point. You got to think about how those minutes are going to be allocated, right? It's like guys going in the home run derby, and then all of a sudden they lose their swing second half of the season. So, but yeah, it's definitely the media driven, and that's the problem. Big shot Bob. Yeah, correct. Correct. My God, going YouTube. I mean, I've seen it. His numbers. That's what I'm saying. Like, just because you don't have a ring, it doesn't mean you're any less of a great player, right? That's all. Les Paul, that's a hell of a handle. Les Paul 19, we're vintage guitar, right? Miles gets to playoffs. They better start calling travel on her. Well, how about this? When Wilson's playing, is she going to get the friggin' whistle all the time? Maria, 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 ¿qué tal? ¿Qué pasó? How are you? Maria, how about Maria? Maria's giving us like what a supervisor would say on a Monday. Good morning. This is like a work text, a work email right now from Maria. Good morning, everyone. If I don't respond, please don't take it personal. I'm on the road. Maria, were you supposed to set this for your work email? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Is that a work email? We just need to know. No one respond to Maria. She's not going to be able to reply back. She's on the road. She's got meetings all day. She's probably listening in, laughing right now, trying to focus and drive. Buckle up. Don't text. Eyes on the road, Maria. Look ahead. If you're going to make that turn, scared of that, ain't ya? Look straight ahead, will you? preacher's gonna preach. Oh, man. Does anyone watch the Westies? If you haven't watched it, watch it. If you guys know, I'm a big movie guy, but I'm a big TV guy too. If they're really good shows, watch the Westies. It's fantastic. And if you get a chance, watch Lioness. Fantastic. I think one of the best shows on TV. I don't know why when I saw Preacher's Gotta Preach, for some reason I thought of one of the lines from the Westies. Fantastic show. Unbelievable. I love it. Do you think SW is reminding the broadcasters about Mitchell, Rich, or losing it? Did that come out of my mouth? Did that come out of my mouth at all? No. The broadcaster... Dude, you sound goofy. I call friggin' games. I call games. I call fights. I'm on TV too, Paul. I know what broadcasters are being fed and what they're not. That's why they friggin' call notes. That's why they have pre-production meetings. That's why they have a friggin' rundown. Of course the broadcasters prep and they know. My point is, the narrative, they're pushing Mitchell more than they push Clark. It's factual, dude. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. You just don't, seriously, don't act goofy. Don't act like a clown. Just stop. We know where you're coming from. We know where you're coming from. That's it. You don't like her. Move on. See ya. Have a good day. Enjoy your Monday. That's fine. But don't tell me for 1 minute she doesn't go out of her way to get hers. She does. She can be a selfish player. She does do a lot of ISO ball. I got news for you. That's a fact. Go watch the game. Go watch the film. The film doesn't lie, my friend. How many games have you saw all of a sudden 1-on-3? She's got to pull up and try to knock it down. She wants to get hers, man. She's an alpha dog. She's a great player, but she wants to get hers, and she'll be damned if she doesn't. My God, because you guys don't like what I say. Two things can be true. All these players, have you heard me criticize or say they're not good players? Constructive criticism, we're calling out what we see. The fever of the organization, they are campaigning for Mitchell. You got a teammate sits there and basically says she's the MVP, while you got another teammate putting up historic friggin' numbers. And oh, by the way, she's the little stepchild with the red hair. The girl with the curl. Come on, just stop. My God. They pushed the crowd. Oh, she can rebound. She can defend. Yeah. How'd she do last night? Seriously. How'd she do last night? She got dog walked. Defensively. She got dog walked. I mean, okay. So she's not a great defender. But I had to hear you guys for months rip on Caitlin Clark. Well, they pour her in the fourth quarter because she's a defensive liability. Okay. Well, did you watch the game last night? Did you see the same thing I saw? Gray friggin' went off last night. Rent free. Man, you guys just want to push what you want to push. Fear campaigning for KM to get to MVP. Now they're talking about KM. Yeah, I mean, exactly. 100%. Top Gun better than the original? Top Gun Maverick better than the original Top Gun? I think it might be. Just saw your handle. When you go back to the game, when they played Indiana, Steffi White decides to not chest to chest, not face guard her, and let her get the ball. She has, what, 20-something in the first half? They finally made the adjustments in the second half. So to your point, yeah, body her up a little bit, will you? They don't want Clark to have a chance at having the most MVPs or the most goals. If this league was really about growing and acknowledging the young faces, the best, if it was pure basketball talent alone, how you're doing the voting, if you put those 4 or 5 players and we put film on them and we had 25 to 30 basketball lifers, coaches, scouts, Hall of Fame voters that maybe played the game, that were just 1,000% objective, and I threw up, stats and film, but all their faces were blocked out and all their last names were blocked out. How many of them can you honestly tell me, if there was 50 of them, would sit there and say, well, I need to see her face and her number because she's the MVP. I bet you 40, hands down, would say it's number 22. Hands down. But that's not how the voting process works. And a lot of the media, they're skewed by other members of the media because they don't want to be the contrarian. They refuse to think on their own and think outside the box. That's why she's going to get screwed. If Miles doesn't have the season, you're pulling votes away. If Wilson's not as dominant, all those things can be true. Again, I haven't come on the air and said she is the definitive MVP. What I've said is enough is enough. Start recognizing that she deserves consideration and she's making a strong run and case for MVP. That's all I've been saying. That's all I've been saying. She gets through the next couple weeks, they make a deep run, they win a championship, and you guys will still bitch and complain. You will still bitch and complain. Because if you really understood the game, every game is different. Every series is different. Every quarter is different. It's all about adjustments. It's all about playing at certain levels. She is playing at certain levels, like in the fight game. There's levels to this. Come on. You guys you got to just appreciate what you're seeing right now from a lot of these players. That's all. Appreciate what we're seeing. Marino was an unbelievable. Yes, you got it, Paul. Yep, you got it. There you go. You got your thought in on Monday. Now you control when I throw a short up there later. You got it. They give the script correct. Mahomes would still be Mahomes without a ring. Still an all-time great. Still an all-time great. Just because you don't have a ring, that doesn't define you. And just because you win an MVP, it doesn't define you. What's your impact? What's your legacy? What's your legacy? I mean, hell, let's take it a different direction, right? Let's take it a different direction. If you're going to sit there and say the most impactful were what they do on and off the court, I got news for you. She's going to win the award every year because of this. And this, the ratings, the revenue, the merchandise, the eyeballs. But as we know, it ain't happening. Thanks for telling me what broadcasters do, Paul. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're all right with me. Whew, man. Shiloh, what's going on? What's going on? Appreciate you. I know, brother. We fired off. We were a couple minutes early. 30-year records are being erased every year. The media has a script. You should know that by now. Correct. Maria, I'm telling you, if you are at work and you're listening in, if you're tuning in, if you have me on in your cubicle, you get brownie points. You get extra shout out for that. You get a special shout out, 100%. Original can't be replaced. Original Top Gun was fantastic. It was unbelievable. And I'm not going to, again, full transparency, man. When you see Val Kilmer in Maverick and you see that moment, I'm going to be honest, it got a little dust in my eyeballs. I did. That was a sweet moment. That was a very, very sweet moment. If and when SW pulls Lexi from the starting lineup, does she go big with Billings or three-point? I think you go big. You go big. I think Cunningham is that spark off. It's a great question. I think you go with Billings. Cunningham is that spark off the bench. If you need that three, if you need a blow, if you need another dimension on the floor, you got to go with Billings. But I don't know what the hell's going on with her because she's an enigma like Boston at times. You got to figure out a way to negate the height advantage of some of these teams. And you just can't grow overnight. They never addressed it in the offseason. They never addressed it in the offseason. They are not a big team, especially when you're talking about these other teams that you're probably going to see in the playoffs. I would go Billings. You got a 6'4" big body. 6'4" big body. And listen, she kind of brings that lunch pail to work, right? But I need a little more offensive. If you go back in mid-July, she was giving you some decent production. She was. But remember, the bulk of the offense it's really predicated Mitchell Clark, Clark Mitchell, and then if AB ever gets her head out of her fanny at times, she can be a legit. I can't figure out her game. Boston has talent. She does. She's a good player. She's a talented player, but sometimes I watch, and she's young too. I watch her play the center position, and I'm like, oh my God, get your ass out of the lane, man. Stop clogging up. And sometimes you got to get her back on defense. I feel as though you have to pull her to the side and whisper in her ear, she can play. She can play. 6 of 16, You know, I'm looking at 13 and 11, 6 of 8, get to the line if need be. I don't care about the 3, but if it's there, we know you can knock it down at times. But do the dirty work, positioning, low block, rebounding, loose balls, then get yourself in position. Soften it up a little bit around the rim. They have players. They've got players. How does Boston do so well against? Because sometimes players match up well against certain players. We've seen it in the NBA for years. There are certain players, certain bigs that just match up against other players. And there are certain guys, it's like tackles in the NFL. There are certain tackles that could be journeymen, but they give defensive tackles, they give edge rushers fits. They just match up differently. That's all. They just match up well. That's all it is. Rich people refuse to listen to Caitlyn herself. She doesn't want an award without a championship. Listen, at the end of the day, she gets a ring. You would think it would silence people. But here's the referendum on her career. She can break every record. She can win multiple rings. They'll still never... She can, in a perfect world, she can win multiple MVPs. She can be a Hall of Fame player, and you will still have naysayers and critics out there. That's all. You will have naysayers and critics out there. It doesn't matter. You cannot please everyone. And I don't really think she wants to, and I don't really think she cares. I don't. That kid is your great example of a kid that just wants to play basketball. That's it. She gets in the gym before it opens. She's shooting jumpers. She's doing laps. She's doing bleachers. She's putting her miles in, and then she's shooting free throws. She's a gym rat. She's a gym rat. And she still plays with a chip and an edge because of how she's treated, how she's perceived, how she's officiated against. Imagine if they're not double and teaming her. Imagine if they don't. Imagine if they actually called fouls when she got hammered and she's going to the line or the N1s. Or imagine if her teammates can finish. I saw 6 blown layups 2 games ago. So imagine her numbers now. And I told you, when she plays over 29 minutes, she's averaging close to 25 points. Her numbers would be, she would be a 25 and 12, 25 and 13, 25 and 14. Then what are you going to friggin' say? You're talking about a player that's accounting for 40 points. But you guys still want to find fault. You always want to find fault. Bernie Kosar, that's a throwback. Those poor Browns fans and those Browns teams never got over the hump, man, back in the 80s. Never got over the hump. Ernest Biner, Jeremiah Castilla, brutal. Tippy Tippy was good last night. Tippy Tippy was good. She was good. Showed her lack of coaching knowledge when she put 4 guards out at the same time with AB. That was absurd. Yes. But I still have people who chime in telling me I'm a fool for saying that she is not a good coach. Maria dropping the BS. She inherited a pretty decent team and a coach who's going to allow her to run free and flourish. Boston is just lazy. I don't think she's lazy. I just think She just court placement, court awareness, right? That's what I deem it. If I start to see my guards coming downhill and I see them going right to the basket, like, clear out, man. Take the defender with you. Yeah, DB, you're 100%, brother. She gets lost on the court. Yeah. She gets lost on the court. Mike in Ohio says, Q, without a doubt, Maverick trumps Top Gun, and the Westies are very underrated. Westies is a great show. Westies, phenomenal show. It's great writing. And it's a very good cast. But Lioness is undoubtedly one of the best shows on TV. I mean, it's riveting, man. There's some really good shows out there. Because there's a lot of trash on network TV. So I got to go to the, Netflix and Amazon. Top Gun, appreciate that. Yes, hit that subscribe button, please. We got NFL later on in the week, by the way. And Back Your Plays coming out again for another season with the gambling lines. Just throwing it out there. Mitchell Schwartz. Yeah, he was with the Giants, too. Shut down Von Miller for over half a decade. 1 sack in 10 games. That's right. And then the Giants signed him to a contract, and he got hurt, and he didn't last. Trust me, I know. I'm a Giants fan. But matchups are everything. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. You got to finish that. Yeah, it's a friggin' bunny. No contact whatsoever. Come on. If we're going to criticize Caitlin Clark for turning over late and ultimately losing that game, yeah, you got to be able to finish around the rim. I'm sorry. By the way, I gave Angel Reese more love than I usually do on the air today. More love than I usually do. Lazy doesn't mean not studying the game, not learning, doesn't care. Well, it's also coaching. It's coaching, too. And I blame Stephanie White. At this stage of the game, when you got young players that are 23, 24, 25, coach them up. But you also have to, during practice, you got to tell her, man, this is where spacing is. This is where you flash. This is where you drag the defender out so it opens up the paint. I mean, that's another thing. Set proper screens. Know how to fight through certain screens. And some of these players can't do that. Throwback movie I watched a while ago, Face Off with Travolta. Ooh, and Nicolas Cage, right? Hoo-hoo, you real good looking. Look at Reese's numbers. 1/3 against Washington, 3 of 13 against the Sun, 5-16. She hasn't played well. Listen, she's not on the floor because of her offensive paralysis. Okay? She's not. She's just not. Oh, man. You guys are too much. By the way, yesterday. Oh, Jeff Schwartz. Yes. Thank you. Jeff Schwartz. Yes. Who sucked too, by the way. Yes. Jeff Schwartz. I don't know why I said Mitchell Schwartz. Jeff Schwartz, yes, is actually in the gambling space right now. What a wasted friggin' contract he was. Are you kidding me? What a dog. What a friggin' dog he was. Yes, thank you. That's a good pull by you. Good correction. I appreciate that. Have you looked at the background of the Fever coach? It's pretty bad. Yeah. So during the NFL season, if you guys like football, we do a lot of content. So we do the Back Your Play, the Sports Betting Pod, but we do weekly NFL talk, previews and recaps. And it's funny that you mentioned the coaching staff because I mentioned this for the guys tuning in yesterday with the NFL show. James Hasty, who had a really nice run in the NFL, DB with Kansas City, the Jets, Kansas City, and then the Raiders, was actually on the Pro Football Hall of Fame ballot. Good friend of the show. He always talks about coaching and how rosters are built and how coaches coach and how they build within. And correct, if you look at the structure of some of these coaching staffs in these leagues, you can basically lose a championship based alone solely on coaching and how the roster is constructed or the coaching staff that you bring in. It's a great conversation for when we do NFL talk, but yes, you are 100%. It's a really nice point that you bring up. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Fort Apache, the Bronx? Come on. Fort Apache, the Bronx, one of the most underrated movies in the world, man. Paul Newman. Whew. One of my all-time favorite actors, by the way. You had Paul Newman. You had Ken Wall. Remember from Wise Guy? Ed Asner was in that one. How about Pam Grier? Whew, my goodness. Can I tell you right now, back in the day, I would say back in the day, if you go like top 2 or 3, you start ripping off the 70s, and you mentioned my girl Pam Grier. Steelers fan, you guys, we do everything. And yesterday, so check out what I dropped yesterday, because you'll appreciate this as a Steelers fan. We have Pittsburgh as one of the worst quarterbacking rooms in the entire NFL. Yes, we go very hard with the NFL. Very, very hard. Yes, that is a brutal, brutal. I want a poster of CC. Paul? Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother. You know what? It's only a half a troll today. I know you're going to argue with me off air. That's okay, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we have a ton of football content. Once we start in another week or two, we got college football. We got our guys from 24/7, Fansided. We got some guys from FanDuel. We got some guys from Total Sports Live. So, yeah, we're going to rip through. Absolutely. We booed Tomlin his last 2. Got to get rid of him. Yeah, well, it's not going to be any better with McCarthy and Rodgers. All right. Excellent stuff, guys, as always. I totally appreciate you guys chiming in, and I always love the banter. Yeah, it is amazing when you think about it, right? So the trolls have dissipated, man. Like the summer wind. They're nowhere to be found. Like, we don't mind the trolls. But for some reason, I felt that my fresh roasted coffee tasted a lot better today. I'm going to take little Kiki for a nice little walk around the beach, give her a little late lunch, drop a little NFL nugget, a little NFL show later. Yeah, it was a very respectful, peaceful shot. Oh, no. You see a little mini helmet back there? Oh, my Giants mini helmet. Oh, man. Hey, listen. This is a huge season, and we'll drop it later on. This is a huge season for Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Appreciate you, DB. How do you think the Irish will do? I haven't seen their schedule. So, Shiloh, I'm going to break it to you, and this might turn you off. There's only a handful of teams that I hate in my life, and one of them happens to be Notre Dame. We're going to do a college football show next week, and then we'll rip through everything. My first time on, you're better than some of these sports talks in the Midwest. I'll be back. Tom, appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. That's very humbling. Thank you. Paul, be well, and you can troll me later. I know you will. What did you say, McCarthy? Not good. We are winning our division and winning our first play. No. Come on, Top Gun. Come on, man. We were doing so well. Not happening. That offensive line stinks. Where are you guys yesterday when I was talking NFL? Expecting Philly to disappoint me this year. We're going NFL heavy tomorrow. Lock it in. NFL for you new fans out there. All right, we got to get rolling. Special thanks, Coastal Sports Digital Network, Destin FM, SR 1029 FM, The Game. Also, our good friends at Play It Again Sports. And, of course, Fresh Roasted Coffee. Maria, you need to focus on the road because you're already late to work. A focus on the road, Maria. Went to school at Bama. Wow. Very nice. So we do a lot of SEC talk with another show as well. So we'll have a little fun with that. DB always signing off with Fire Boone, okay? I'll be looking for you. Right back at you, brother. Right back at you. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, hit the notifications. Where were you guys yesterday on the show? It was funny. We had like 300 something on views, and we were like, when we do the WNBA and the NBA, it gets so contentious. And yesterday we had a nice Sunday talking NFL. Back at it, Mignana, NFL talk. We're going to start looking into the over-unders as well. Some injury news to report tomorrow, which we will get into, and we're going to focus a little more on, I think right now, some of the other storylines. Like we dived into some of the worst quarterbacking rooms in the NFL, but tomorrow I want to look at some of the head coaches that are going into the season on the hot seat. Lloyd Vance is going to join me. You guys keep it locked in. 2 hours in the books, right around 2:13 on the East Coast. Appreciate you guys as always. Like, comment. The best you can do is subscribe to the channel, share, keep hitting the notifications. Keep commenting in, keep subscribing. Let's have a little fun. Let's bring a little passion, bring something to the table. We will do it again tomorrow. For everyone tuning in today, thank you so much. For those that are driving around, focus on the road. You know who you are. For the rest of you guys, we're going to drop a couple of pre-recorded NFL shows as well. And also, tomorrow we're live again with some more NFL talk. Lloyd's going to join us. Yes, the Irish hate is always real. And just for the love, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. You guys have a wonderful Man Up Monday edition of On Cue. As always, I am Rich Quiñones. As we like to say, be safe, be sound. Hasta luego, buen día.